The end of the U.S. Supreme Court session. They're not scheduled to renew hearing arguments again until the first Monday in October, and that meant we got an awful lot of rulings in 1 week, and some of them have been somewhat confusing just because of the fact that so many come along and we only hear the headline and we don't hear the depth of it. What about his financial records? That was one that a lot on the left were really wanting to know the answer to.
Exactly. SCOTUS versus POTUS. But the thing is, SCOTUS will always win because they have a lifetime appointment. They can't be fired by anyone. It is the ultimate job security. All they got to do is rule in favor to their heart's content. And President Trump is a little bit miffed at some of their decisions, too, especially whenever it comes to his financial records. However, I think they kind of gave him a little bit of a win in this situation because he doesn't really have to release them until after the election. So we might not see them at all.
And let's take that a little further because I think that's a very important point. I found that the first headlines that came out said Trump loses at Supreme Court. But once you read more than just the actual verdict, you learn it's much more nuanced. What the court basically said, correct, is that there's a separation of powers argument that has to be addressed at the lower level. No one is above the law, but by the same token, Congress, for example, can't just go on a fishing expedition.
Exactly. Trump wanted absolute immunity. I mean, think Alexander Hamilton. Hey, you're the commander-in-chief. You don't need to be bothered by lawsuits, etc. But the Supreme Court was like, no, nobody is above the law. And in fact, remember like a couple presidents ago, Bill Clinton, he was sued by Paula Jones in a civil sexual harassment lawsuit. We let that go forward. So how is this any different? Well, Trump was really worried because a lot of politicians in New York kind of want to make a name out for themselves. And it's very popular if you're a Democrat to go after Trump if you want to have, I guess, higher career ambitions than the office that you hold.
It's certainly a stepping stone on the way to have that winning verdict over somebody famous in your hand. But there is a difference, and I saw some folks on social media say, well, why can't Congress have it if the Southern District DA in New York can have it? Well, it's a very different thing. One is the executive branch, one is the judicial branch. I mean, there's no real correlation between the two, as some have suggested, is there?
Yeah, exactly. A congressman cannot doesn't have police power and these sort of things. So it was really interesting to see all of the different headlines because they were just all over the board.